Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're enjoying a beautiful Sunday, one of the last Sundays with a fantastic weather outside. Yes, we will speak about the Italian national team that yesterday drew against Macedonia, total disaster, the start of Spalletti, but I want to keep that topic for the end of the video, because first I want to update you, of course, about the physical condition of Paul Pogba and especially Federico Chiesa, because a lot of you are worried if we will see our number 7 on the pitch against Lazio when we start back match day 4 on Saturday. I can't wait for that game, I can't wait for the result of Federico Chiesa, but we have some positive results. So put a maximum of likes also on a beautiful Sunday. Continue to subscribe if you didn't yet, because we are about to start. We start now. First, with something serious, my friends. I always told you there are more important things in the world than football. I already wrote yesterday in the community post, I don't know if you check them from time to time, my thoughts and prayers for the Moroccan community, because what happened in Morocco is a total natural disaster, something that we don't want to see. We don't want to see these images, something that yesterday affected me a lot. I grew up in a neighborhood with multicultural people. There were Italian people, Belgian people, Spanish people, but also a lot of Moroccan community, so I was really touched by it. So ragazzi, if you are from Morocco, but also from wherever in the world, and you have people that you know living in Morocco, thoughts and prayers for you. Now that we spoke about that, I really want to go for another sad news, but absolutely not comparable with what I just told you, but the elimination of Juventus Women from the UEFA Champions League Women Edition 23-24. We know that in Italy, when you are finishing second in that Serie A for women, you will have to play a kind of playoff with a semi-final, final to accede to the group stages. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. Yesterday, we did 1-1 in that final against Eintracht Frankfurt. I have to say that I watched the game and I was kind of disappointed, kind of sad, because I think that we could have done much more. We started the season much later than the other teams. Physically, we were absolutely not ready. We were able to score, to open the score. They equalized on a big mistake from Juventus, because we wanted to continue at a certain moment to attack, not paying attention to the physical condition, to the speed of our opponents that killed us in a counter-attack. Disaster. Juventus at the penalty. Juventus had the opportunity even to win it. We missed it with Berenstain, and then we were eliminated. So Juventus will not play in Europe. It's something I have to admit. It's kind of sad also for the growth of the women movement, for the growth of the international image of Juventus Women in that sport. It's a pity. It's really a pity. So now we'll have to focus on Italian soul like the men are doing. Now, you're all asking me about the physical condition about Federico Chiesa. There is a good news. And the good news is that we have no bad news, because if the first tests that were done in Firenze, in Coverciano, with the Italian national team, Federico Chiesa already traveled to La Continassa to do further tests. You know that we always need a bit of time to see that where he had been injured. After a few days, he's already getting better, so we have 100% correct examinations, medical test, and so on and so on. He will do new ones in the beginning of the week, where we have an answer. What are they saying at the moment? Well, that he is in Torino, that we have optimism that he could be there against Lazio, which is a great news, not a certainty. So a few days more to have 100% exact news about Federico, but there is optimism, and that will be really great. At least having him on the bench could already be fantastic, even if we start with Dusan, Vlahovic and Moiskin, that is at La Continassa, training hard to maybe win a starting spot against Lazio. That could be a really great news. But again, don't worry too much about Chiesa. It's not something serious, but of course we will have to monitor, like we are monitoring Paul Pogba at the moment. Also for him, we are not scared that it's a big injury. He already trained individually. He will now this week train with the team, and also there in the beginning of the week we will understand if Paul Pogba can be there in the Allianz Stadium for the second game at home this season, hopefully with a better result than the one that we had against Bologna. So him training with the team will make sure that the technical staff, the physical staff of Juventus will understand if Paul Pogba will be ready to play, which could be a really beautiful news, because you know it, Paul Pogba on the bench is always something that is scaring the opponents. It's always something that is giving hope and joy for the tifosi of Juventus, because when he's getting up, you know it, that environment got totally excited. So, two good news in terms of physical injuries. And now we have to speak about another news about Dusan Vlahovic, because today on Gazzetta dello Sport, yes, they are speaking about national team, what we will do in a second, but they are also speaking about Dusan Vlahovic extending the contract until 2027. We know it, we spoke all summer long about Dusan Vlahovic possibly leaving Juventus to Chelsea, to Paris Saint-Germain, even to Real Madrid in the last days of Mercato. This didn't happen for the joy of the supporters of La Vecchia Signora, but now we are thinking about extending the contract of Dusan Vlahovic 2027. One of the main reasons, we know it, Juventus was not able to cash in enough with big sales, because we didn't do any big sales, so we still have to pay attention to our salary mass. We have to pay attention to the cost that we have. We know it, the word sustainable is not only for the world, for the environment, for ecology, but it's also for the finances of Juventus. So Dusan Vlahovic extending until 2027 is a plan of Giuntoli & Co. At the moment, he has a contract that has been made from 7 million euro net, increasing, and it can go until the last year of the contract of Dusan, until 10 million euro net, which is immense, which is huge and big. Juventus was, when they signed that contract with Dusan, they really wanted to sign that player that could have been already an immediate phenomenon at the levels of Mbappe, Holland, at least in terms of words. This is at the moment not what he is, so probably the contract in terms of what we paid, the value to Fiorentina, was too much at the time, but we had to anticipate the opponents, but also in terms of salary, we probably paid too much. And now we are going towards extending the contract of Dusan to lower the salary, to get a bit more in the new standards of Juventus, like we will try to do for Adrien Rabiot, for Szczesny. If we are able to save a bit of money on these three players, well, we are speaking about a 6-7 million in euro total net that we are saving, that could help Juventus even more. Now that we spoke about Dusan, now we want to introduce the topic of the national team. First of all, I want to say that yesterday, USA, well, after 3 minutes, we saw that fantastic combo, Weston McKennie, Timo Weah, with Weston McKennie doing a fantastic control in the box of the opponents, taking that ball, giving it with a small, beautiful, precise pass to Timo Weah that is going with a rocket. Fantastic, beautiful goal. That partnership is working off and on the field. Hopefully we can see that also in Torino, with a request of Juventus that will try to ask also the USA team to release them 24 hours before, so that we can have them on time. They will be really crucial if we will play against Lazio, because if they arrive really late, not sure if these two players can be starters, and that's why also Allegri is testing these days Cambiaso on the right side of the field. Now that we spoke about all of this, now we go towards La Nazionale Italiana, with pages Tuttosport, Corriere dello Sport, Gazzetta dello Sport, that are all going towards deception, sad pages with Luciano Spalletti with his head on the ground. We know it's something that it's not the first time that we see Corriere dello Sport with Questi siamo, this is who we are, because yesterday, after leading 1-0 with a goal of Immobile, scoring in 17 goals with La Nazionale, well, in the last minutes of the game, after a foul of Zaniolo, they came back to score 1-1, putting Italy in difficulty to accede and to qualify for Euro 2024. I tell you the truth, before the game, I had kind of positive feelings for La Nazionale Italiana. Not because of Spalletti, not because of the players, I will come back on these two in a second, but it's because I was believing in an electroshock of changing coach, but also the electroshock of playing again against Macedonia. We all remember, especially the Italian ones, that we were eliminated from the World Cup 2022 because of the fact that we were not able to win against Macedonia. So that sense of revenge, that change of coach, the new ideas, the unpredictability of having a new coach, that it was more difficult for Macedonia to study, I was thinking that Italy could have gone with a 3-4-0. I would not have been surprised at all that Italy could have done that score. It didn't happen. Probably I overestimated that electroshock. Am I sad? Am I happy? You know, it's always a love and hate relationship with Italy, with La Nazionale. I am Italian. I have supported Italy since 1990, I believe, when I was really a kid and watching Italy in Italia 90 with my family. I celebrated as crazy when Italy won the World Cup in 2006. I probably didn't celebrate and was not conscious, but I was already born when Italy won in 82. You know, when these players are representing the country that you are from, the origins, the love, the story, you can only love it and you will always hope the best for them. But it's true that at the moment, for people that are still asking me, it's difficult for me to love a system, and I'm speaking about Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio, that doesn't make me feel welcome at all. I'm speaking about Juventus as a team with everything that happened last year, and you were all there to watch it with your eyes. Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio that was even planning to put Juventus in Serie B, something that they already did, that did dirt in 2006. So it's really hard for me to love a system. I'm speaking about Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio that always try with cycles, when you have winning cycles, when you have that supremacy, to love gli Azzurri, Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio, but also the team that we are playing with. Italy, it's difficult for me to love it, first of all, because I can't recognize myself. I don't see any Juve players. There were only 2 players called up. Locatelli, that played 0 minutes because they preferred a Brian Cristante. Why? I need some explanation, but that's another story. And Federico Chiesa, that we know, couldn't play, otherwise he would have been a starter. Not enough, especially if I know that Italy has been called so many times when we had winning cycles, Ital-Juve, for the huge appearances, huge presence of Juventus players. So it's quite difficult for me. Now, I was curious to see Spalletti, a coach that I didn't want at Juventus, and you all know for a lot of things that I repeated, but one more than anything, for the fact that when Spalletti is in difficulty, he's putting his head to the ground and he's not able to awake a team, to motivate a team, to take them out of that negative limbo. Yes, I know he was trendy, he won with Napoli, with credits, absolutely, because he showed a fantastic, beautiful football. But in a year where all the stars and the planets were perfectly aligned for him, with Juventus, with penalization, with the World Cup break, when he had all the time in the world, with nearly all the team at disposal, to again work and do a second preparation. And we know with the teams of Spalletti, they are really well known to do mega beautiful turbo starts. Well, Italy could be in difficulty after 4 points in 3 games. They are obliged now to go and win against Ukraine, obliged to go and win against Malta, obliged to go and win against England if they want to dream to qualify for Euro 2024. Otherwise, they will go again, if they finish third, in these kind of playoffs that are really a horror show, especially if we see the players that we have at our disposal without big international experience, without saying that we have mega phenomena in these teams. You never know who will be the opponent's team. So, was I surprised of the game of yesterday? Yes. On the other side, I was absolutely not surprised to see Italy, because I don't see huge talents. I see teams with difficulty, overrated players like Gnonto. For me, I don't know. So I'm happy that Gnonto didn't join Juventus. I'm super happy at the end that Spalletti didn't join Juventus. I'm happy for a lot of things. Barella played well. Politano, also another overrated player that didn't play. Yesterday was a total disaster in that first half. Even Donnarumma. Hey, if I'm watching the last 2-3 years of Donnarumma, I say, oof. Oof, that we didn't bring in Spalletti, Gnonto, Donnarumma for Szczesny. At the moment, Italy or not Italy, Italian or not Italian, we have to be honest. At the moment, Donnarumma is not the one that we were believing in, because it's one beautiful save after the other and then one big disaster after the other. Ragazzi, this was it for me. No edits in today's video. It's morning. Today I have things to do. Maybe a last thing that yesterday I was not able to watch, but that charity match with the Sidemen, just fantastic. Having more than 2 million people on YouTube watching, mamma mia. And then you know it, I always have that special feeling for Mark Goldbridge. Not that I'm agreeing with what he's saying, but I like the journey of Mark Goldbridge. You know, when I see the pictures of him being there on the side of the pitch as a coach in a full stadium for a charity game, mamma mia. It will never happen, huh? It will never happen, but that would be one of my dreams, you know? Being there for a charity game with a full stadium, being there as a coach, managing a team of content creators would be a beautiful dream. Who knows? I'm 41. Before my 50, can it happen? Let's see. I don't believe in it, but you never know. Anyway, ragazzi, enjoy your fantastic Sunday with your family and your friends. Grazie, forza. Juve.